So, we have just seen the integral form of the mass balance, okay, where we take a large control volume and we do a mass balance on that. Can we also derive a differential form of the mass balance equation, which is also called as the continuity equation? So, we will do that. So, there are two methods of doing this. So, I first want to show you the integral method which leads to a differential equation, and then I will show you another method. So, we have already done this, that from the Reynolds transport theorem for eta equal to 1, we get a volume integral, the rate of change of that for this volume rho dV. This is dm by dt, which of course we say this is 0, and then there is a term here which is minus over the control surface rho v dot v. So, if we bring the other term, the one on the right, to the left hand side, then I am going to get del by del t of now this is an area integral over the control surface. I could actually use the divergence theorem and convert this area integral into a volume integral, and then it would look like this. So, this would correspond to an integral over the volume, and then I would have to replace this quantity with divergence of rho v over the volume. So, I use the divergence theorem to reduce this area integral into a volume integral, and then I could combine these two integrals, and that would lead to the following. So, for a fixed control volume that does not change with time, I would be able to write that del rho by del t plus divergence of rho v c. Now, this is true for any arbitrary control volume. So, I could take a small control volume, I could take a large control volume, and this statement must be true, which really implies that the integrand must be 0. That is the only way that this can be satisfied for all kinds of arbitrary control volume. So, therefore, I get del rho by del t plus divergence of rho v equal to 0. This is the continuity equation. In the differential form. So, I can derive this at a point, but from an integral relationship. So, this is satisfied pointwise. So if I was to apply the mass balance in a two-dimensional flow, and this two-dimensional plane is my blackboard, then what this equation tells me is that point wise, that means at infinite number of points, at each point this relationship should be satisfied. And it is actually equivalent to satisfying this integral relationship over this entire domain. Okay, so they are actually equivalent. I want to now show you another method of deriving the continuity equation. So this one we did from the Reynolds transport theorem. Now we are going to do it by using an infinitesimal fluid element. So let's say this is my coordinate axis x, y, and let me do this just for 2 dimensions, and then we will generalize it. The arguments hold in 3 dimensions also. So let me take this control volume. In fact, because it is a control volume, I should actually be looking at broken lines. So this is my control volume. And of course there is flow everywhere. So there is a velocity field V, maybe I will write it here, which is given as Vxi plus Vyj, because it's a 2-dimensional flow. And note that Vx is a function of x, y, and t. So it changes from point to point, and it could also change with time. And likewise, Vy is a function of x, y, and t. If it was in 3 dimensions, then it would also depend on z. I am going to consider unit depth in z direction, which is really coming out of the plane of the blackboard. Okay. So I want to apply the conservation of mass to this small fluid element, and I already know that mass cannot be generated or destroyed. So as we did in the Reynolds transport theorem, the d capital M dt should be 0. Okay. So what is the mass inside the CV? And that you would see if I call this as dx and this as dy, then it is simply rho dx dy for a unit depth of this element. So if I want to look at the accumulation so rate of accumulation of mass, then that's del by del T of rho dy. I would now like to see what mass gets into the control volume and what leaves it. So of course there is, in general, these could be the streamlines. So the flow is coming in, going out. But I will use my knowledge of what I have already done to evaluate the fluxes at these 4 edges. So let me say that here the flow going in through this edge, let that be given as rho times Vy times dx. That's the mass going in through this edge, or the rate of mass going in through this edge. Okay. So, what I have assumed is that rho does not change much along this edge, and similarly Vy is some kind of an average value simply because I have taken an infinitesimal fluid element. Likewise, I could estimate what is the flow going in through this edge, and that would be rho Vy, sorry, this would be Vx dy. Now, I could estimate what happens to these two edges, and I will use the Taylor series expansion. I do not have to retain the higher order terms, because when I take dx and dy to be small, those terms will kind of become very, very small, and I can drop them. So, this term, as we can use the Taylor series expansion, would be rho Vx dy plus, in fact, I would like to keep the dy outside. So, rho Vx plus del by del x of rho Vx times dy. So, that is the flux coming out through this edge, and for this edge it would be rho Vy plus a change with respect to y, rho Vy, and this would be dx. So, the net efflux, as you can see, would be this quantity minus this, and this quantity minus this. So, that is easy for me to see. I am sorry, I missed out a dx here and a dy here. So, when I write the Taylor series expansion, it is this term plus the derivative with x times dx, and likewise this term, the derivative with y, and then the length dy. So, the net efflux, as you can see, would be given as, I will straight away take the difference between these two, and I would end up with del by del x of rho Vx dx dy, and from this term I would get del by del y of rho Vy. So, if I add these two terms using the Reynolds transport theorem, then I would see the balance would be that del by del t of rho dx dy should be del by del x of rho Vx, sorry, plus and this would give me del by del t of rho plus del by del x of rho Vx plus del by del y of rho Vy equal to 0, which actually is again the same equation that we saw earlier, del by del t plus I would give divergence of rho times V equal to 0. Okay. So, identical. So, I have shown you two methods and actually both are equivalent. Okay. So, that is the continuity equation. Now, I want to demonstrate to you some special conditions. So let's simplify the continuity equation for some special cases. So the first is a steady flow. In a steady flow, I can drop the variation with time, and then you will notice that if I drop the time derivative, I am simply left with the divergence of rho v. Okay. What happens if I have an incompressible flow? So the definition of an incompressible flow is that the density, the material rate of change of density is 0 everywhere. So if I take a particular fluid element, let's say I take this fluid element may go somewhere in the flow, but as it convects, the density of this fluid element should not change. So this would happen if d rho by dt is 0. So that's what an incompressible flow is. Mind you, if I have rho constant everywhere, that's a very special case of incompressible flow. You could have a situation where the density changes with space, but then as the fluid element convects, the density should remain constant. Let me give you an example. Suppose I took a pipe and I had an interface here. So this is oil and this is water. As you know, oil has lower density compared to water. So if I drew what is rho versus x, then this would be the interface. I would see a small density of oil and a larger density of water. So this is what the graph of rho versus x would look like for this pipe over here. Now suppose I am pushing the oil at certain speed v. You would notice that this interface would go here at time t plus dt, and this was at time t. And then the graph of the density would look something like this. So I would have oil up to here, all the way up to this point. Right? So here is a situation where if I did del rho by del x, that is not 0 at interface, and if I did del rho by del t in this zone, in the shaded zone, that again is not 0 because the density is changing with time. This was the density at time t, but the density at time t plus dt has actually reduced from an Eulerian point of view. The question is, can I call this flow as incompressible? Because density is neither constant with x nor is it constant with time. But by the definition of incompressible flow, indeed this is an incompressible flow, because d rho by dt is 0, in the sense that if I took a fluid element, then as it convects, it remains oil. Oil remains oil and water remains water, and they preserve the density. So mathematically what happens to my continuity equation? So let me start with that equation. So I am talking about an incompressible flow, so let's do it over here. So I can write del rho by del T plus this term over here, the divergence of rho v. I can use the chain rule and break it into two parts. So the first one is v dot gradient of rho. The second part is rho times divergence of v. This is 0. And please note what this term is. This actually corresponds to d rho by dt. So the material rate of change of density has an Eulerian component, the local change, and a convective part, which we have already seen in an earlier lecture. So for incompressible, d rho by dt is 0. So therefore my continuity equation becomes rho divergence of v is 0. And since rho is not equal to 0, so the equation is divergence of v is 0. This equation holds even for steady flows. Okay. So let me recap for you what we did. We tried to derive the continuity equation, the differential form of it, and we used two methods, and as expected both of them give the same equation, which is over here. If I am looking at a steady flow, I can simply drop this term, the equation reduces to divergence of rho v equal to 0. But if I had an incompressible flow, then the material rate of change of density is 0, and then the equation simply becomes divergence of v equal to 0. For this reason, when you have an incompressible flow, people also say that the velocity is divergence free. Or they may simply say that the continuity equation is simply the divergence free condition. Okay, it's just a way of referring to the continuity equation. Good, we'll stop here, and in the next class we will talk about force balance using the Reynolds transport theorem. Thank you.